first off, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone has managed to find some degree of rest with all the just general fuckery that's been going on the last couple of weeks. We've had a little bit of a hiatus, but we're gonna go ahead and kick off with roll call and right into our technically first official session of those who amuse the fates. Um, Actually, remind myself of your names. We have Adamon.
Yes, I'm here.
We have Ari.
Hi.
Aldrix.
Oh yes, that's very high.
And Abrash.
Present.
I'm at this point convinced that Don waits until everyone else has joined the campaign so he could always be last in roll call.
Yes, I'm sure that's why he does it.
Yeah, totally. It absolutely has to be the reason, right?
Yep.
So, in our little, like, sort of pre-session, quite a bit went down. Most notably, the party itself, your crew was was formed. Beginning in a small no-name village, each of you feeling this compulsion pulling at your gut, drawing you out in the middle of the night, with the first threat of a light rain, and noting that as more and more of you joined in this companionship, that a sigil, a symbol, began to appear upon each of your hands, which everyone's interpretation thereof is doodled about here on the map. Otherwise, strange dreams have lashed into your mind over the last several months. Some more present for a longer amount of time than others, but nonetheless as potent, all told. Traveling for a decent amount of time together, managing to acquire a cart and a poor and desperate need of rest draft horse. You made your way into another one of these nearby farming villages within the Unterland, nestled within the near center of the Barak Empire. A propulsion pulling you past the village, only having you stop briefly to be accosted by an elderly gentleman and two fairly burly farmer lads with farming implements, basically saying, "Hey, look, you're not welcome here. Um, you can pass through, but if you're here when the sun goes down, we're gonna fuck you up." They believe that wholeheartedly. I mean, they don't know that you are well beyond their particular scope of strength as far as most commoners are concerned. They believe they can take you, as is the burly, the warrior spirit of most of the Unterland kind of people. Getting through and settling down for camp, finding a brief respite and shelter from the light drizzle that has plagued you for the most of the day, you were approached by a very panicked woman who begged aggressively for your help, informing you no one else would help, no one else would listen, and that her daughters, Sara and Lilith, had been taken. After a little tussle back and forth with moral conscience, the party mostly agreed that you should help this woman, gathered your things, your quick bag belongings, and launched yourselves as she raced off into the forest. Eager to keep up with her, though most notably pointed out that she never got so far as those of you with dark vision, which I think again was like just one person in the entire party doesn't have dark vision, if memory serves. It's another one of those parties because it always is. You press deep enough into the forest, coming upon a clearing where, as you watched her step in, she loosed a scream, and you saw as if she fell, struck by some mighty blow. The vision of this woman, in her white gown, vanishing before you, and with the grayscale vision. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Adam, I think you're the one with no dark vision, but you have other sight that's helping you see. I think that's what it was. But I believe the other three of you have dark vision of some kind. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a minute. Um, Judging by the silence, I'm going to continue with that line. That's the line of thought that everyone can see in this grayscale, and that's the description I'm going to give.
Right.
Because to my knowledge, no one's cast light or brought a torch. Again, vague memory. I don't remember. Feel free to speak up if you think you would have grabbed a torch.
Remember.
I believe I have dark.
I wouldn't bother with it.
Okay. So here, where the thickness of the woods clears away just enough, you would wage probably a good 90 foot, maybe 90 by 50, 90 by 60 roughly. Just kind of where your vision scopes around. Just a small copse of trees dot the interior of it, and you can see what looks to be a gaunt skeletal frame leaned up against one of the trees. At which point, I believe Ari was mocking Alberish for some of the personal life story regarding nastiness happening in the woods, and that's mostly where we left off.
I mean, partially just worried that we're going to run into what he ran into. Just thinking he's telling a story that went horribly awry in woods, and as we head off into the woods.
Yeah, it's my understanding Alderman was taking up to the rear because he was the last to leave the camp. It was Ari and Ulrich who were the first out. So you two are the first to see the body itself.
This is a body on the ground, correct?
So we're gonna go ahead and pull you over to here. More reason for people to freak out and panic.
I like it.
Give me a second while I adjust the stream view. There we go. Remind me, I believe, Aldrich, you're the one with the high passive perception. If I remember right.
Oh yeah, 15.
Okay. 15. So, again, the body's very easy to see.
Yeah.
It's hard to make out details as the grayscale just sort of warps and blends the mud, the grass, the foliage, with the what little bits of flesh and tissue remain on the skeletal frame. The body has been here at a glance for a good amount of time.
I will point towards the body, like something here.
It's pretty much on that, at the foot of the tree. I have the two of you standing by.
Gotcha.
I would take a look around the rest of the clearing. trying to verify, are we actually alone here?
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check. I don't have my my fancy DM screen up with everyone's passives at the moment. So
I got 8.
an 8. With your vision kind of skewed with the constant stream of water in front of you, sort of messing with just general depth perception. You feel that itch of paranoia running up the back of your neck. Swear you see movement to the north, the northwest, but nothing launches out at you. As Ottoman, I believe you looks like you scooted up to be with the rest of the party.
Yeah.
Okay. You watch out of the corner of your eye that right as Ari turns to start looking back to where Aldrich is pointing out, you catch just the last flash of movement as a creature launches themselves onto Alberish's back. Alberish, I need a athletics or acrobatics check from you, please.
Okay. That would be a 7.
You are pounced upon with its initial attack, thrown to the ground as this fetid, rotted smell floods your lungs. This what you hope is slobber splashes on your face, as inhumanly strong arms pin you down.
I seem to require some assistance.
I need everyone to roll initiative.
Yeah, I agree. It's very hard to read the numbers. Black on purple.
Yeah, like I like it dark. It just my rolls are hard.
Yeah, that's really the only.
I like it.
Let's see. It's a little better just with an inline roll.
Yeah, because then it's
Yeah.
purple and gray on purple. Overall, I like it, but I'm biased
Yeah.
because the bright white drove me absolutely batty.
Yeah. Character
Um,
sheets, though, they're still not great because we got a dark border.
Yeah, but it's the same as what they're doing with the character sheet rolls, right? It's still white, and then they've got purple and black. If they fix the purple or the white, then it wouldn't be as bad.
yeah, basically
And
made
yeah, gray.
made the character sheet recognize night mode.
Yeah.
All right, so Artie, you hear Albert call out as his head slams into the ground, and you turn to see this gangrel, long-limbed creature ready to lash into him. You are first in initiative.
He already lets out a cry, backs up about 5 feet, and hurls a dagger at it. I think I got it.
There it goes. 15 for 2 damage. That is a hit.
That seems. Oh, I wonder if I flip back to strength. It should be using dex,
Okay.
so it's a little bit higher.
I was gonna say, why are you using strength for a dagger?
Look,
I
man,
guess it's
he's determined.
a net 4 higher. So his dex is 3, his strength's -1. So it'd be 6 damage.
6 damage. Okay.
19 to hit.
All right. And if you, yeah, I would say if you move, make sure you actually physically move. The map is to scale.
Yes. And I might as well go ahead and just chuck 2 more daggers at it as he quickly just keeps pulling daggers off of bandolier or off of a wrist strap he's got.
All right. Go ahead and roll the hits. And I will know, Adam and Aldrich, you are on deck. You two did manage to just barely roll better than your opponent.
9 to hit, which I'm guessing misses.
The 9 misses. The 18 hits for 7, so a total of 13 damage this round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So as this undead is reaching down, a familiar motion to you, Adaman, towards your throat, it hisses out as you hear 2 solid thunks, and then you see a flash of metal against the brief vestige of moonlight that slips between the clouds. The 3rd dagger flying past and into the mud. Ottoman Aldrich, Ottoman, I think you have the
He
higher
beats
mod.
me.
But you
He
guys
beats
can, again, you're tied. You can either go combined, whatever order you two decide.
You can go first, Gorgon.
Okay. Decisions. Let's just go with frostbite on it.
Frostbite. DC 14.
Yep. Apparently, it didn't do any damage or anything.
It rolled a natural 4. So, 1d6.
Yeah.
And disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll. Is that how it's worded, or is it just attack?
I think
No,
it's
it is.
weapon.
It is weapon attack.
Okay. It's been a while since I've used the cantrip. So 2 damage.
Yes.
All right. It is out of the gate, while victorious in its current position as far as getting one of you on the ground. It's already looking pretty fucked up. Its physical frame is withered and very much that of like a malnourished individual. But that is your action, so you have bonus and move.
Yeah, that's that's pretty much what we're gonna do. I don't need a bonus or anything right now.
Okay, Aldrich.
Yeah, I'm gonna Eldritch Blast this thing.
Okay.
Moving back so I don't, just to make sure.
Beautiful, sir. So you hit for 1.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Is that where you're gonna stay?
Yeah.
So Abrish, you just gonna. I do require some assistance, and you see all 3 of them just back the fuck away from you.
Well, but we also.
Well, I mean,
damage.
everybody's shooting and backing away.
As the creature is a blast of force, and you see a bit of its flesh freeze off and fall, slapping against your face. It leans down and goes to get a nice solid chomp at you. That is a 14 versus your AC.
Does not hit.
Okay. And then out of the corner of your eye, you hear first, and then see as another one comes launching itself out of the thick of the forest. Let me just go ahead and move all of these onto this same layer so that I can move them easier. This one is going to try and scrape at you with its claws. You are prone, so as a result, that is going to miss you. Just as you have this panic driven instinct, you feel the wind of rotted, flesh covered claws smash, just narrowly avoiding your neck. As chittering howls can be heard from the northeast and east, your compatriots getting likewise. Get on the right thing. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. This one will actually dash to get into melee with you guys. 5, 10, 15, 20. That one goes there. Go. So only one of them is going to get a chance to attack, and it's going to go against you, Aldrix. It is going to lash at you with its claws for a 23 versus AC.
That is a hit.
Okay. Confirm for me, are you an elf? I don't believe so.
I am not.
Okay, I need you to go ahead and make a con save. Okay, you're fine. But you do take a total of 8 slashing damage. That brings us to Abrush as you are wrestling on the ground with the one, the other in the midst of trying to get a piece of you for itself.
Wonderful. Abrash is going to reach up and sort of grab the one that is sort of grappling and biting at him by the throat and cast an Eldritch Blast right up into its face.
Okay. Point blank. Was it war? Disadvantage range attack at point blank.
Since
That is
16.
That is still a hit for the 8 damage. You blast a chunk of its throat away. It is still snapping and snarling at you, but you can see the light in its eyes as close as you are fading rapidly.
All right, that's me.
All right, that brings us to the top of the round with Audie.
Okay. Rush being attacked a bit savagely, I am going to try and see how much I can do to the one that we've wounded already. So he keeps pulling seemingly indistinct daggers from his bracers. He just keeps whipping them out.
All right. So you see the blast launch from Abrish's hand. With a flick of your wrist right as this fiendish creature lifts up, ready to slam both of its gnarled, sharp hands into your traveling companion. Your dagger sinks right into its temple, and it falls limp, resting its now dead weight upon the otherwise refined gentleman of the crew.
Okay, I'm gonna take a bonus and hurl 2 more at the other one next to him. Trying to keep an eye on our allies. We need to focus them down as quick as we can. Hopefully more won't come.
Meanwhile, I'm holding up my shield trying to hold 2 off.
So
17 and a 22.
17 hits. Solid slam, and more glints of steel rush past you, Abrush, as you begin to push yourself back onto your feet, and you see the dagger sink solidly into the undead creature assailing you. Ottoman, you're up.
Okay. We're going to Firebolt. Well, I need to step one, don't I? If I step there, no. What's the wording on this? Okay, so it basically works like acid splash. Okay. So we're going to do frostbite on these two, since they're within 5 feet of each other.
Okay, so it's 2 con saves if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 2 con saves. I'm gonna hit the button so I can click the button if they
Natural
fail.
8, natural 4.
Okay, so first damage and second damage. And disadvantage on next weapon attack.
Okay. Are you going to attempt to remain there?
Debating. We're gonna give this a move.
Okay.
Potentially 2 OAs there, but
Roll an intelligence check on the one focused on Alderex. He is not paying any attention to you. The other one obviously was already facing you, so he will OA you. That is an 11 versus AC.
okay, that's a miss then.
Okay. As he swipes and you see the pieces of their last meal go flinging into the air off of its sharp claws. Aldrich, you're up.
I'm gonna look at the one who hit me. Hold on, never mind. That's it. That's a different spell than I thought it was. Ba 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 ba.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Okay, first things first. Bonus action, healing word on myself. Okay. And then I will point blank Eldritch Blast the one who got me,
Okay.
which I know is at disadvantage. So 12 to hit.
12 just hits.
Okay. 7 force damage.
Okay. Staying there?
Yes.
Okay. As you blast into the one to the north, it is going to recoil, seeming to get this feral focus on you, and it will attempt to wrap itself about you to try and slam you to the ground. I need athletics or acrobatics, your choice.
Team acrobatics.
It was just enough. So you manage to interpose your shield, sharply shoving it away as it burns its attack. The other one lashing out behind you with a natural 20.
Okay.
Manages to catch your defenses so focused on not being pinned down like Abarish was. Gets under your armor, and you can feel the rotted surge hit your system. I need another Constitution saving throw, please.
Another 20.
Another 20. You're fine. But you take a grand total of 16 slashing damage from that attack.
I am glad I healed.
The other one, it's making you the nearest prey, launches to likewise take advantage of your back.
And then
16 to hit.
Just miss.
Just misses. Okay. Alrighty. That just leaves the one who will take the attack at the still prone Abarish. 13 to hit. I believe misses you.
That is correct.
Lashes away right as you roll your shoulders to make a little bit of distance. It is your turn.
All right, so I'm no longer being pinned, or
You are
am
no
I?
longer being. There's dead weight on you, but it's easy enough for you to push it aside as you get to your feet. Still half movement.
All right. Arash will shove the corpse off as he stands and draws a rapier, the blade flashing toward the creature in front of him.
All right, roll to hit.
15.
15 hits for 6 damage.
All right. I think I can do.
Okay. That brings us to Auri.
I will try to keep a close eye on Aldrich, make sure he's doing okay as he's getting surrounded. But since Albrecht is just getting to his feet, I will try to help so that we can hopefully focus down another one. And I will throw another dagger.
I will note that one likewise seems very very close to the verge, and just as the rapier, the tip finishes the slash through, there's another solid thud, just barely piercing the creature's skin, but catching a vital connection for its life force. The claws just barely grazing down the front of your shirt, Abarash, as that one likewise falls dead.
Okay. Sorry, was it his turn? Was I jumping in too early? Did I
No.
hear something?
That was your turn.
Okay.
He stood up. He stood up, attacked. That was like so. As his attack finished, he didn't move anywhere. And so you made the first attack of your set.
Okay. Yeah. Then seeing the fact that Aldrich is getting surrounded, hoping to turn the tide of this so that we can get some sleep maybe soon, I will do a bonus action again to attack the one on his north side.
Okay. That one does have partial cover from the tree, but still you're able to pinpoint with a 22. It's more than enough to make it through for 8 damage. And another solid hit. Right, so there's pretty much one right over the other sinks into the creature. Do my math here real quick. That is enough. The last dagger catching it just over the jaw and slamming up into its brain, sinking all the way to the crossguard of the dagger. That brings us to Ottoman.
Okay. Sigh.
This will be the
A
first time the
wraith-like
party's... Yeah, there
creature
you go.
appears between the other two undead and attempts to life drain one of them.
It is difficult.
He was invisible, so he has advantage.
That is true. They were very much distracted with their current meal.
Yep. That was the whole 1d20.
So as you guys are fighting, a small cohort of undead, a ghost appears.
It's only one better, so.
Yeah, it's not good enough to catch them off guard. Their feral reflexes darting away from the cold touch.
Yeah.
But you see, as described, this wraith-like figure, pretty much right where Adam was standing, but moments ago. That's a similar bluish flicker that you caught every now and then under his cowl, I believe.
Yeah, probably.
Anything else, Ottoman?
Currently, no. I think there's really nothing else I can do.
All right, Aldrix.
Okay, second level healing word this time.
What? They're not going to crit you again.
I know better than to tempt fate. And then as my action, I'm going to turn to the one that crit me.
That one's dead.
Oh, wait, no, I thought that was the one.
That's right. That's right, because it was this guy who tried to pin you.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna E-blast him. Alright, disadvantage.
That is
So
a
16
hit
for
for
3.
3. He's still up.
I would hope so. I think he's only taken 3 points of damage.
No, he took a hit earlier.
Oh, okay. That's all I got.
All right. Well, there was a brief flicker of attention towards Sai, but you see they're very much more interested in the living, as you are food. But the one to the south, so forcibly distracted by this sudden presence next to him, attacks. His attack goes desperately wide, missing you in full. As the other one, with a 12 to hit, smashes itself against your shield. That brings us to Abarish. You turn from the two foes that have fallen to see Aldrix, one just now slumping to his feet, another one gripping at his shield, trying to pull it off of him and get at the fleshy bits. You see the blue green ethereal creature you've not yet witnessed before. Avarish?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I forgot which in the cascade of A names I was.
I was like, wait, is that me?
All right. Amarash seeing the two dead creatures before him, seeing two hostiles, going to step forward and slash with the rapier. All right, 20. 21 to hit.
21 to hit for 6 damage. Connects smoothly with that creature. Its attention now torn between its 3 adjacent combatants. Anything else?
Sensing the tide is turning, Abarash is going to take a deep breath, feel a surge of action go through him, and slash out with the rapier again. 18.
For another 9 damage. It is trailing on life. It's holding together, but just so.
Okay.
Trailing on life, I should say.
All right, that is me.
And that brings us to Ari.
Having moved where I can see him a little bit easier, I will throw another dagger from behind. The southern one, the wounded one.
You catch it dead in the sternum as it churns. I mean that quite literally, as you manage to drop your third one. No, fourth one. I think if I'm not mistaken, you officially got the killing blow for all four.
The bodies.
As it swivels in the midst of its wide miss on Aldrich, it's this feral sense on the wraith, and now the barrage against its back. It churns, and your dagger sinks well into the hilt, right into its otherwise rotted sternum.
Okay. I'm gonna spread out over that way, getting the visuals and keeping away from the ghost. And that is all I'm doing.
Ottoman.
Ottoman. Okay, there's only the one left. He failed last time, so we're going to firebolt it.
12 to hit. Just hits. Need to adjust. Yeah, your damage, and there it goes.
Mine's set to not auto roll damage.
That's
I wait to hit and then I click it.
works. For 5 damage. You can see that it is beginning to panic. There is a degree of intelligence to these creatures. Aldrich, you're up.
I will nah. I'll just blast it in the face. This is gonna be so disappointing. Yep, I was right.
So it went from a crit to a miss.
Yeah, I should have stepped back. I should have. What was my gut?
Seeing its last chance to render its one purpose to feed, it lashes out at you, Ulrich, with a bite, an 18 to hit.
Just a hit.
For 8 damage, taking a mighty chunk of your flesh as it pushes your shield aside and bites into your arm. And as it tears free, it gulps it down and begins to churn and try to run. Sai and you get an away. The steps there.
Bonk.
It's still alive. Well, unalive. Does Sai have an away?
For now, we'll say no. I'm
Okay.
looking into some
That's
stuff.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Back one, because I already got 5. As it dives into the thick overgrowth of the wood, Abrish, your prey flees.
Unfortunately. Yeesh. Hate it. Freaking character shit. Blocks. Okay. Do I have visibility?
It's in like light obscurement. It is not attempting to hide. You saw exactly where it went, and it's still within your dark vision.
All right, Amarash is gonna raise his hand, shoot an NEB. Fell the flame beast. It's a 10.
Smashes into a tree nearby. Your attempt to catch exactly what's moving, but beyond all of the undergrowth that it's mashing and bashing about, sends your shot wide.
Great.
That brings us to Artie.
Calls out, watch the ghost. I'll see if I can catch up to him. I will throw another dagger.
Okay. his current cover is not enough to protect him from that, as the dagger crashes in again, just enough to take him down.
God damn.
I hope you guys are gonna like keep a kill counter. He's got a pretty solid lead, 5 out of 5.
Who knew daggers were so deadly?
As it
Daggers
catches
while not being a rogue either.
catches you like right at the top of the creature's spine. It tumbles head over heel into the wood,
I got it.
and at that shout, the silence grows with the gentle patter of rain against the mud. You're out of combat.
I'm gonna look these things over. Have I ever seen them before?
Give me a religion check, please.
Okay.
For the record, you're fairly you're fairly confident that these are ghouls. The only catch and difference from what you like would know of them is they acted more in unison than you would expect from individual ghouls. They much like as you living did to them, they were clearly attempting to focus a singular target at a time, and took advantage of each other's strengths and weaknesses.
That's a bit disturbing. I mean, I guess I haven't dealt with them much, but from the stories I'd heard, undead tend to not be too smart. And I thought they were slower, too. Is everyone okay?
Ish.
I did not take any wounds in the fighting.
I just look down and just,
There,
look like I've been beat to shit.
it doesn't like your fortitude is okay thanks to your magics, but your physicality, you are missing a piece of your arm. Like it took a pretty solid bite.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna go over that with the cure wounds.
Do we get you a bandage or a poultice?
Go
I'm good.
roll the quantity. So
19.
as he's asking for a bandage, Aldrich, it is painful as you are effectively telling your body to regrow all of that flesh in one sharp turn. You watch as the flesh knits, muscle replacing itself, wrapping back about the bone before the skin folds over it.
It actually becomes like a little bit watery as it reknits too, because that's what I get from my elemental stuff.
But far as you know, you are now alone in the clearing, with Ottoman currently hovering next to the body. But I believe he said he was AFK for a second.
I can drag the other one back in, see if they were carrying anything, if they have things from their past life they're still wearing that we can identify them.
Okay.
So
other than the fairly consistent visual of the daggers sticking out of them in a few places.
There's actually no daggers. So that was the artificer.
Yeah, the returning dagger.
Yes.
But go ahead and just give me an investigation check if you're specifically looking for identifying markers of these individuals. They all seem to have been recently stabbed. Though I will grant that you can tell that these individuals are definitely of Unterland descent. These are their body, the skeletal structure, their forms, not too different from Abrash. They're tall and would have been powerful builds if they were fully muscular. But they're not because they've been dead for a good while, and they smell amazing. Let me tell you, especially with the rain on them.
Did I kind of move over here to get away from the spell?
At least our camp's not super close.
As far as you know, your camp is like a good hour march back through the wood.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a bit annoying. I don't think that lady needed much help. If she's already dead.
I hope we all learned a valuable lesson next time rangers show up at our camp.
Right, so I will remind you, she did not was not so much asking help for herself. She screamed her last thing reminded that she begged you to try and save her daughters, her children.
And there's nobody else. Like we see, her body is at the base of the tree.
You are currently standing right next to it.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I was going to come back to look. I mean, if she's been dead for a long time, I'm not sure how we would ever find any.
Go ahead and roll a medicine check.
I will assist.
Sorry, what check?
Medicine. Okay. You do have advantage.
Could get that one more.
I will note physically that I do need you to scoot over by the tree there, Aldrix. If you are assisting him, you'd be right next to the body. All right. So, with your 20 medicine, first and foremost, as you settle from the attacks, you get a fairly a more comfortable time to investigate the clearing. You will note roughly around where you're standing, you can see what looks to be nearly faded markings of a small hand-drawn cart working its way west northwest out of the clearing. Kneeling next to the body itself, you begin to recognize just over where roughly the left ear in the back of the skull, there is signs of blunt force trauma. The head caved in. Otherwise, you're fairly sure that had anyone just given a passing glance with the number of gnaw marks and just natural bites, the body has been picked over, not cleanly by scavengers in the area. But between yourself and Aldrix, you were able to find that it was a blow to the back of the head is the most likely cause of death. As well as this has been at least 3 months worth of decay and scavenging on this body.
She fell quickly with a single blow, as opposed to being eaten by these things alive.
And I will note, you watching these things fight, none of them try to crack you over the head. They were ripping, tearing, biting creatures.
And when I was hit, I felt something. I was able to resist it, but
You're with your previous religion check, you're fairly sure that specifically their claws carry a very fast-acting disease that paralyzes the body.
gotcha.
It's not very strong, but if
Right.
paralyzation is kind of bad.
Yeah, pretty sure that's what makes school so mean.
Does the woman's body by chance have any identifying marks, any jewelry left that maybe we could identify who she may have been?
Give me an investigation check. Okay. I leave it to you to decide how gingerly, how respectfully you move about the body.
Definitely try.
So, easing her shoulder over, basically trying to find anywhere that something may have fallen. And with Aldrich there next to you, you manage to find a very tightly wrapped piece of leather that you recognize as sort of a weatherproof ledger of sorts, that is clutched closely against her right arm. So I think we just lost somebody.
We lost
Okay.
the scorpion.
Interesting. But anyhow, between that, the cart, the cart marks, that's most what you notice. She does seem to be directly on the path where that was pulled away from. As far as notable items, there is a fairly old, you'd imagine this being a ring that was passed from one generation to the next, as far as like a marriage ceremony goes. A starting to rust from the lack of care, iron ring around the what remains of her left ring finger. There's no markings externally, and you have yet to pry it free to see if there's any on the interior of the band.
I hate to leave the lady without her ring, but she doesn't have much use for it now, and maybe it will help us find any relatives. I'll
Yes.
gingerly slide it off.
Any relatives?
It comes off easily, which may not feel great in the gut as you clean it up a little from the muck that it's been sitting in. You see what you're fairly sure is the family name of Minro.
I just read it out loud. Arrow. Is that name familiar to anyone?
Reach it?
It's not familiar to any of you.
Okay.
No, I've not heard it before.
Maybe in the light we can follow. There's some cart tracks here. Maybe that's where others of her party went? Or her assailant?
For the record, we are now down to Ottoman. Apparently, I don't know the results of the combat, but Duke rolled initiative with a skunk.
Oh.
Oh, Duke. Oh. Oh, Duke.
I don't know the results. We'll have to get an update later.
He has other things to carry about now.
Oh. Aldrich, being the one who's moved around the most, near the cart path leading towards the west, you saw what appeared to be a stuffed straw toy in the shape of a bear.
We'll go towards.
Approaching it, you catch it is fairly small, probably that of a very young child. In its right hand is like wrapped with twine in place a broken toy like wooden sword, and is currently missing a leg with the straw kind of falling out.
I will pick up the toy, look it over.
One of its little button eyes kind of sags, in need of repair.
Well, I think I found something from one of her children.
Hopefully the child is in better shape.
Yeah.
Well, as much as I would like to, I don't know that we are best equipped to try and follow this cart in the middle of the night.
I agree.
This would seem like a precarious course of action.
I don't see any more on these creatures that'll help us learn anything. So, I guess we can head back to camp, get some rest, and then at first light, come back up this way, catch a
Yep.
trail. No, sorry, I'm trying to remember when we were being pulled towards somewhere around here.
You were being pulled to pretty much right where you're standing.
Okay, that's what I was trying to check on. Yep, time to get moving. Toss my hood up and start trekking back.
Yeah. Yes, let us get back before the rain starts.
It has been raining, but it's that like annoying weak rain. Like if you're gonna rain, like just rain and get it over with. No, it's just this long, drawn out, like soft drizzle of a shower. Um, Give me a survival check from whoever's trying to lead back through the twist and twine of the wood.
I can.
I can as well. Never mind, you got it.
Okay.
This time, for now. So I roll another 2 or 3.
Just under an hour, you can see the last embers as you had managed to tuck your camp against a like an earthy outcropping. You can hear the horse whinny and whicker as the four of you return. The wraith-like figure seems, as you guys are leaving the clearing, seems to step into Adaman's back and disappear.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask more about that, but I figured he's not here to
Yeah.
talk about it.
His
Slightly
response
disturbing.
to start talking to himself, as he had been for the week or so that you've been with him.
Yeah, I mean, I figured I was probably not realizing it was him creating it first, but if it didn't attack us, I'd hold off a bit. Okay. Yeah. Back to camp, get some rest. Dry out, which I guess might take a little bit of time in the morning.
Yeah.
Stop raining.
So, morning comes, as with it requiring the long rest. Yes, you will be able to get it. But I also need that D100 roll from everybody. Close, Aldrix. Close.
Close to what?
If you remember, when we started the campaign, I said if you rolled a 10 or lower.
Oh, right.
Okay. So, for the most part, your dreams are of your own. You get your rest, and you are not lashed out at by the imagery that had otherwise begun your compulsion. Aldrix being the closest, you get just like just that sort of your embedded imagery in the midst of your dream, where you're like, wait, hold up, subliminal
What the
message
fuck?
much? Yeah, like
And considering I was the one who probably needed the rest most, that would have been annoying.
yeah. You come to, and between your layers of magical healing and being able to get out of the rain, your wounds close, and these what would be the beginnings of scars manage to fade slightly. It otherwise is a comfortable morning as far as effectively sleeping in the mud goes. The rain has not let up. In fact, it has gotten worse. to the point where, as you ready the horse to the cart, you can see the wheels are sinking. Not so much that with threat that they are going to immediately get stuck and clotted up with mud, but enough that if you are intent to try and bring the cart with you on the path back to the clearing, you're pretty sure that someone is going to like constantly have to be scraping mud as it builds up on the wheel, slowing your potential progress.
Is that as well, assuming nobody's in the cart?
It, you get in the cart, it's much worse.
Yeah, just to make sure, like, if we could lighten the load a little bit or not, but we don't have. I mean, like, take a person out. That's all we could really do, unless somebody's not carrying too much.
It will comfortably carry like your camping supplies and things of that nature. Once you add a person, it sinks pretty aggressively.
Huh. I mean, it's kind of a really bad spot to try to just leave a horse in the cart.
The horse looks at you like, don't you fucking leave me here.
Yeah.
I've been good to you, damn it. I've been good to you.
I guess it's just try to pick a path that is a little bit drier, has more down branches and stuff that it can roll over instead of dropping down into mud.
All told, the overall effect of bringing the cart just it doubles the time it takes for you to get through most of the thick overgrowth. The horse itself is kind of able to manage working through the game trail that you had followed to get to this clearing. As you arrive, the body is gone.
The woman's?
Yes,
Are the undead creatures still there?
they are.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess traveling here, I try to, like, especially if Aldrich is experienced out in the woods, picking trails and stuff like that, if we spread out and have, like, an advanced scout or something like that, so we can try to pick trails or a route that works well. But, yeah, getting here, that's a little bit disturbing. I mean, not too far-fetched since the spirit itself was coming.
Yeah.
But still odd. Like, is there any evidence that it was here and, like, drug away recently?
Give me a perception check. Okay. So as the horse plods under your lead, Aldoric's kind of scouting, picking up the cart trail. It's the trail itself fairly easy to catch. Here in the clearing, it stands out. You're pretty sure it's going to be very difficult to follow once growth is involved. Alberish, you find yourself like making, kind of keeping an eye, making sure these things aren't going to pounce on you again. Ottoman is on the other side of the cart, kind of again in deep conversation with himself. You scan the horizon, and as you get to where the body should be, you see the physical imprint. There was, you know for a fact this is where the body was, and you see the faintest bit of drag marks that follows along with the cart before they vanish entirely, as if whatever was dragging it suddenly hoisted it up. But more importantly, you catch just on the edge of the north a humanoid shape that, as soon as you blink, is gone. All you saw was a black silhouette, and you swore that where the head was cracked wide enough where you would swear there was a smile. You blinked and gone.
I would draw a dagger and look around, ready for more of these things to jump out. It's a little bit kind of like what happened last time. It's not as clear of an image. We may be watched, or it was just a really short night.
The
I
rain
can't tell.
falls around you. Nothing jumps out. The horse whinnies right behind you, spooking you briefly.
Well, I can't tell if one of these hungry undead things came and took the body last night and drug it away, or it was all part of the specter last night, and she was taken with a cart. There's drag marks off in that direction. So I guess we follow and hope we don't get stuck.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Is this also in the similar direction of where we're being pulled?
As of right now, this spot here is where the compulsion stops. Like, it's still there in your gut, but it doesn't. It seems directionless at this point.
Oh.
What would you like to
Well,
do?
I'd say we follow the dragging.
I. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Pips.
Bundle up, get ready for trudging through the woods. Well, I guess we've already been doing it for like an hour, 2 hours.
This would have been the first like 2.5 hours. Probably a little, not your first. Probably like, you ate a little bit of breakfast. Um, Cleaned up your camp as responsible
Yeah.
adventurers. I'm doing air quotes here. But collecting yourselves and beginning to follow the cart path west, northwest leading. What is your marching order? Ottoman's currently going to stay right next to the cart no matter what, because he's kind of not here.
He's dealing with skunk.
Yeah.
I will lead the way, I suppose. Probably the most perceptive and most able to take anything that attacks us from the front.
I will follow in case you need assistance.
Okay.
Behind.
Okay, I'll go third there and help try to keep the horse moving.
Okay. Albert, just go ahead and roll a history check for me real quick. Alberish?
History?
Yes, please.
History.
Look, y'all are the ones who chose all the A names. I'm just saying. Okay.
I know everything.
Okay. As you begin making your way through, you find yourself sort of turning over the rough locations. You haven't been everywhere in the Unterland, but you do get this brief recollection that you should be coming up on a forestry village, like a lumber village, known as Falst. And for the most part, what you recall is that is what they do. Is they maintain a portion of the woodland as a lumber supply to the local cities, villages, etc.
I believe we are approaching a small lumbering town. Perhaps someone there will recognize the ring and perhaps knew this phantom.
And you do have the leather, the parchment wrapped in leather that you haven't looked at yet.
Which of the party has that currently?
Artie. I don't think
Mist.
I don't think Artie had handed it off to anyone, and it wasn't exactly hidden from anyone.
Sorry, what?
The leather wrapped sort of ledger you had.
Oh yeah, forgot to look at it with the rain. Yeah, apparently I'm walking with it and have completely forgotten about it.
Just kind of see it tucked in his belt.
Mr. Ari, might you take a look at the parchment? See what it might say. Might tell us.
Parchment. Oh, briefcase. Ah, yeah. Sorry, completely forgot about that. A little bit tired, a little bit annoyed by the rain. I'll pull it out as we walk, and since Aldrich is leading the way, I can just kind of walk and follow the people in front of me, see what it's written.
Sort of with one hand on the reins, letting the horse now more guide you as its attention is following Aldrich's, and your other hand freeing the clasp and letting the ledger unfurl, tilting it enough so the rain is not hitting it like violently against the ink. You catch that this is a mark of delivery, a manifest for grain and cloth, hailing from the village you just left, from the day before. Not your very first, not the very first village, the one that you ran out of. A fairly sizable one, justifying the need for the cart, for the Miron family to deliver.
To where?
To Falst.
That is the name of the town. So, perhaps she was from there. Did
Yeah.
business there.
Seems like she was delivering some supplies.
Maybe they knew her. Maybe she was a well-known merchant of some kind.
Judging by the manifest, likelihood either a farmer or a farmer's wife. Miller's more likely than anything. As it's again grains, flour. That's the bulk of the material ordered.
Well, might have been good if I had thought about it to read it last night. We could head back towards the village, see what they know. I mean, it's definitely not going to find. Well, not necessarily. I'm going to guess, though, her family is on towards the way either they were delivering or wherever this trail leads. But she could also have family still in the village.
Or something bad happened to that village. To her specifically. We saw what the other village was like.
Well, the village you left is the one that this delivery started from. False is the destination for the delivery.
Gotcha.
Which again,
Yeah.
you saw that most of the grain fields and whatnot hasn't really been worked in a couple months.
Well, if we are trying to find her or relatives, it seems likely the people where the order originated may know her, but that town was not exactly friendly.
Though specifically to outsiders, if we come with information of one of their own, maybe they'd be willing to help. How far have we left? Was it half a day or a full day?
This deep into the wood, if you were to turn around, you're looking at about a 4 hour, and 4 hour plus trek back. Which you can't guarantee will be successful with the cart, as again the rain is getting worse. The trail is getting harder and harder to traverse. Just sitting here, you see the cart is slowly beginning to sink into the mud from just being stationary on the loosening ground. As well as the cart path that Aldrich is currently sort of following with his eyes is beginning to drift away. Um,
Well, that'd be a problem if we lose the trail. Then we definitely would not find her. And I feel a bit more compelled to find where her children were likely taken than trying to reach other relatives. If we, in all likelihood, her children were taken this way, since the cart was taken off this way. We don't know anything for sure. But also, the farther we go, the harder it is to ever come back to the village.
If we are interested in the children, I suppose it makes sense to follow the cart, but just know our options might be limited if we proceed. But waiting around is not much of an option either.
Indeed.
Alright, well, let's continue on down the trail. At least we know where the last village was, but we could come back to it.
better part of the day runs past you as I need a perception check from Aldrich. This is to try and keep the trail in mind.
There we go. There's my.
I was about to say, well, I could do guidance help you find our path forward.
So you lose it, the cart path, for 2 hours before between Audi, Albrecht, Ottoman kind of started like, wait a second. You've circled this there was a specific copse of tree Ottoman had made a comment of, is there was a interesting looking fungi growing on the side of it that he kind of wanted to stop and harvest. As you've gone in a circle for 2 hours before managing to get back on path. At this point, the rain is heavy enough. I'm not going to turn the volume up because I don't want to deafen everyone, but the rain is at this point so heavy that you can only see about 10 feet out in front of you. Making things horrific as far as tracking goes. By the time the sun sets, there is a collective bit of relief as you find yourselves pressing out and out of the wood, and into what looks to be more worked forest. The growth is cleared. The trees look to be managed, maintained, as opposed to the wild that you have recently been traveling. The your poor draft horse, it's like up to its knees in caked mud, struggling to pull the cart at this point, as it has drawn increasingly like added weight, lowered weight from having to stop, scrape the mud off, pull the cart free a couple of times. But you are confident as you push a little further out and see the first of what looks to be man-made fencing that you have reached Falst. And that is where we are going to go ahead and fade to black as you enter the forestry village. Yeah, a little shorter than planned, but that is the next stage, and we'll see if we can't get an update on the Duke v Skunk scuffle. I'm sure we are all dying to hear the results of.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Much so.
Yeah, congratulations on that, dying to a bunch of ghouls.
I was I was close there a couple
To
times.
be fair, they rolled like shit.
They rolled like shit until they were attacking me.
It was one crit. One
Sir,
crit.
a hit was doing a third of my health.
Well, don't get hit.